All right, students, it's your professor here, FIN 330, Equine Finance, a very special moment. We're at historic Darby Dan Farm with Stallion Manager Ryan Watson and Stallion Director Stuart Fitzgibbon. Thank you, gentlemen, for taking a minute with me and the class.
No problem.
And especially you, Ryan, because you're in the class. So
I
this
am.
is a rare treat, and really been spending a few minutes talking to you both about the economic realities of the stallion business in Kentucky and elsewhere. And Ryan, I'll start with you. So just for the sake of the class, stallions covering thoroughbred mares in this part of the world and everywhere. This is live cover, and the mares come to you, and
Yes.
there is a stud fee that is paid. What are the mechanics of that?
Sure. So our breeding season goes from February until basically July 3rd. The majority of our contracts are on a live foal, stands, and nurse basis. So it's a threefold contract. Mares will come to me, be covered February. We actually don't receive any of the income for that cover until the following year. Mare's gestation is 11 months. So if the mare is to produce a live foal that stands and nurses in January of, say, 2025, that's when we get our income or get paid for that.
All right.
That cover.
And Ryan, I know that, I mean, there's so much. I'd ask you about the history of this farm, but we'd be on the video for an hour. I know, and you've had amazing stallions over the years, and your roster now is 10 or 12. I should know that.
13.
13.
Yes.
Yeah. And how many mares would each of these stallions on average breed in a given year?
Average would be probably anywhere from 90 to 110 average. Last year, we had a couple stallions that were removed halfway through the season or sold halfway through the season, and we ended up covering just under 900 mares with the 13 stallions that I had there. So it was a little lower last year.
Yeah, amazing. And Stuart, I know the class has looked at some of the trends in the industry, and it's consolidating. Fewer stallions, fewer foal crops. But what are the supply and demand factors that have contributed to maybe fewer stallions getting more mares?
Well, I think that the whole business has changed in the last 20 or 30 years. There's much more effective mare management now from the veterinary point of view. The stallions are able to breed bigger bucks of mares. Also, the market has got very much, the breeders looking for a short-term, a quick return on everything. So everybody wants to go to the first season horse because he is unproven in that he's proven that he's got a chance to be good. He works, he's done nothing wrong. So the first season horses that retire to stud in Kentucky that have the best pedigrees will stand for the most money, and they will attract huge amounts of mares in year one. Year 2, 3, and 4, those numbers will start to dwindle a little bit, and depend on fashion and attractiveness, they will dwindle. So you had a lot of horses there last year retired in Kentucky, about 35 horses retired in Kentucky, and it was an exceptional year. There was like 5 very beautiful horses at Ashford, 4 went to Spendthrift, and then 1s and 2s in some other farms around the place as well. And there were a very, very solid bunch of stallions that really captured the imagination of the breeder. And also it captured the imagination of bloodstock agents, because when they go to buy stock on behalf of their clients, if they buy a foal or a yearling, buy a first season sire, they've done nothing wrong, those sires, up to that point. So it's easier, less risk for an agent to buy, and the market is dominated by agents and by that thought process where people don't want to be seen to be making a mistake. So the stallion farms in Kentucky, 15 years ago, there's probably 2.5 or 3 times as many farms standing stallions. That's got more consolidated. Full crop has gone down. Racing, I suppose, is not as popular. It's not as big a business as it was. More and more stallions are gravitating towards a handful of farms. They've got big stallion rosters, breeding lots and lots of mares. We would call ourselves a kind of an independent farm. We've been doing the same thing very well for about 100 years. It's working really, really well for us, and long may it continue. We have a different model than some of the other farms. We offer a lot of breeding rights in our stallions, and most of our stallions are syndicated. So there's lots of individual shareholders in each of the stallions, and they participate in the income and the expenses of all of our stallions here.
That's brilliant. No, I'm just a huge admirer of the history of the farm. So Ryan, could you pick up on that point? What does it mean to syndicate, just on a high level, a stallion? So I'm an owner. I've got a great racehorse. I bring it off the track. I don't just bring it here and take all the money. I try to capitalize it. How?
Capitalize it by selling the majority interest in your horse, which basically the farm will approach you as an owner of the horse. We will make you an offer. We will turn around and spread out the risk of that of the offer that we've made if the offer was accepted. 40 share syndicates. So we will take our initial purchase price and divide it into 40 shares.
Yeah, so not too dissimilar than a company raising equity,
right?
For any company, for any business. And Stuart, I'll just ask you, and I don't want to put you on the spot because we didn't talk about this, but could you, I have Flame Away on my mind because he's been such
the whole country has Flame Away.
So can you take us through the arc of how he was syndicated with, just on a high level, and how the owners and the people that took the risk early are probably now very happy?
Well, the horse initially went to stud. He stood for 7,500 standing nurse. It was his initial stud fee in the year 2020, and he was syndicated into 40 individual shares. The John Oxley, who raced Flameway, he kept a chunk of the horse himself, but the shares are valued at 13,500, I believe, when he went to stud initially. And then so you had shareholders came in and participated in the 40 share syndicate and purchased shares for 13,500. When you bought that share, that entitled to you as a shareholder to breed 2 mares every year on that share for the first 4 years of the horse's breeding career. That helps us, Darby Dan, because it helps promote the horse, because then if we have breeders who are shareholders, they are going to guarantee mares to the stallion over the first few years. If you can breed twice for no money, basically, for the first 4 years, you're going to support the horse. So the share initially cost you 13,500. We also did the share at the Upside program, which is a lifetime breeding right, where if you're a breeder and you sent a mare to the horse in his first year for 7,500 on the stud fee, and you had a live foal the following year, paid the 7,500 when the foal standing nurse, as Ryan explained, is how 99% of business is done in this part of the world, and you breed another mare in year 2, you wouldn't have to pay for the year 2 mare onwards. As long as you bred a mare in the first year, got a live foal, paid your stud fee, and then bred a mare again in year 2, you actually attained a breeding right. So you have all these shareholders, breeding right people coming into the horse. Everybody, it's in the best interest of them all to send mares to the horse and hope it works out. Most stallions don't work out. He has worked out so far. First crop of 2-year-olds now. He's had 3 stakes winners so far. He's running at 5th in the first season sire list at the moment, which is a list of all the stallions who've got their first runners in this year, 2023. There's very little prize money and ability-wise between the first 4 or 5 stallions. We're holding our own. We're doing very, very well. Hence his value. He's now gone up to $20,000 this year as his stud fee. So shares in a horse like him have gone from an initial purchase price of 13.5 to in around $100,000 at the moment.
Did I buy one? Can you check the books? I think I bought one. I might have been in there.
We have a great paper trail place behind there.
Let's check.
If we can't find you, we can't find
sure
you.
about
and
that.
The breeding rights have also increased in value. As say, if you came in year 1, you had a bit of confidence in the horse, and you spent 7,500. You're getting about 40 to 50,000 now for that particular breeding right. So he's an example of a horse who's worked out very well. Now behind him at Darby Down, we have a couple of other horses like Higher Power, Country House, Modernist, and they're a year or 2 behind him, and we're hoping that they repeat and do what he does, and that will increase the value of the shareholders and the breeding right holders in those particular horses too.
Yeah, I love stories like that. Certainly, I hope they all turn out to be that way. It's just like a company. If I buy a share in company XYZ or NVIDIA, I'm hoping that my ownership stake in whatever it is, a stock, generates more cash. And you explained it perfectly, exactly the way the stud fee goes up. There's more revenue, more cash flow. into an entity of something I have an equity stake in. So you said it better than I tried to
Well,
recap.
he's
but
easy because he's been successful.
yes. Oh, right,
You know?
right.
He's a good story. A lot of horses are not good stories. At that point, they don't have that buzz about them after 4 years of stud.
No, exactly. Look at the stock price of this Nvidia versus say Intel. I mean, there's and the work though that investors do measuring risk versus return is really similar. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Stuart. And Ryan, I'll just end with you if you don't mind. So do you have any words of wisdom for your classmates as far as navigating your? I've known you for a bit, and you've had just a brilliant career, and it continues here. So what could you tell the students that are just starting out maybe?
Be dedicated to the industry, work hard, try and absorb as much knowledge as you can in all aspects of the industry. You never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, it's brilliant. All right, let's go check that ledger on Flameaway's equity list. Thank you, gentlemen. Really an honor to be with you and to be here at Darby, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime.